basically, this song started because I was purely inspired by a Tyler the Creator track, and the groove from this track is absolutely phenomenal. It's bold, loud, in your face, and when I heard that groove I thought, damn, wouldn't it be great to write an instrumental guitar track on top of that? And that's pretty much how TBFH came to be. I wanted it to feel explosive, I wanted it to feel like a beast coming alive and speaking guitar. It had to feel energetic, it had to feel bold, and I wanted it to culminate everything that I love about instrumental guitar. Roaring melodic leads, obnoxious guitar soloing. What truly set the vibe for this, for me, was the chorus. That, to me, kind of sets the tone throughout the track. Here's how it came together. Experimented with riffs, with melodies, until one clicked. And funnily enough, it was actually the first melody that came to me that was the one that ended up sticking. Funny how that ends up being. This signature lick is one that I am most proud of. Originally I was going to have an arpeggiated section for the chorus, and I did not end up doing that. That ended up getting used for another song coming out. So yeah, it was actually pretty straightforward when it came to recording the verses. It was more so the chorus that was the most, I want to say, challenging to pick a section that I would have or would want to have. When it came to doing the verses, that was pretty intuitive. I used my voice a lot to kind of sing parts, imagining the guitar in my head, like what would that sound like? And the easiest way to do that is also to sing. So that's what I did, and recorded it on guitar. For a little while, I was kind of stumped on how to create an intro, how to create a bridge. But I figured that the intro isn't massively important until I've created like the main section and the transitions. So I experimented with transitions and ended up creating a bridge, which essentially also serves as the intro. So kind of like repurposing sections, and it works. And since those transitions start with such bold guitar, they really kind of hit you across the face, and you're in the next section. When it came to what I would play for those intense moments, I love Steve Vai. That's his guitar. I really just wanted to have an obnoxious, wah-wah filled tapping escapade extravaganza. Listen to how it sounds before versus after EQ. this track. This is where everything starts to feel alive. One thing I noticed when recording guitar is one guitar track is not enough. You need to have two, and sometimes three. This one had at least two. In terms of other decorations amongst this track, I used Logic's studio percussion kit. Had a great time with that. Literally spent, I don't know, 25 minutes, 30 minutes just dialing in the most perfect percussion part, section by section. I used Get Good Drums Modern and Massive drum plugin, VST. For the bass as well, I just used stock Logic Pro plugins, something called a subby bass. I doubled that with the Liverpool bass, and I also recorded my guitar going through an FM3 Axe Effects, and then I have a preset on there that actually emulates the sound of a bass guitar. I'm very resourceful. I don't have a bass guitar. I'm sure one day I will. Some synth was used, analog waves. Everything is pretty much stock besides the Get Good drums, and obviously the guitar tone coming from Axe Effects FM3 Fractal Audio. And then these bad boys, these hands, look at that, man. And what's amazing is one hand is actually bigger than the other. It's incredible. One hand is actually bigger than the other. Honestly, the biggest challenge was always a personal one. No, the biggest challenge for me was knowing what to put for the chorus, really, and what to put for the bridge. Having read Rick Rubin's Creative Act, which I highly recommend, there's a line in that book that says, you know when something's done when nothing else has to be removed. Typically, we're adding things, right? We're adding elements, shaping the landscape, and before you know it, you've got a full garden of beautiful flowers. But what's also really important is to know when there's too much and when nothing else has to be taken away. So the biggest challenge for me was being certain on the chorus melody. What came out first was that screaming guitar melody, but what was going on in my head and what was going on in my writing, a part of me wanted to have an involved or arpeggiated guitar part that would just spark across all over that section. That didn't come to fruition. Instead, I'm going to use that for another song that I'm working on. And that's kind of like the beauty of making music, is that nothing goes to waste. You are somewhat recycling, but you're also developing your own library of vocabulary, lines that are unique to you. And you can kind of repurpose them however you like, because they're ultimately your gifts to the world. So if there's a part that I make in one song, or a draft of a song, and I end up not using it, that part never goes to waste. That part can be used in another song, in another section. That's what I love about making music. Nothing goes to waste. Everything can be reused and repurposed, recycled. And that's how it all came together. The really fast parts, the technical stuff, you know, a couple of takes, really. The big challenges are compositional, are creative, you know, it's the difference between using a simple melody versus a really involved guitar part. And ultimately, I'm playing music, right? So I wanted to have a balance of all things. And so I figured I don't need a complicated chorus part. I can just have like a simple soaring lead line for the chorus, and my verses and my transitions can be the spectacle, I guess. I want to thank you so much for watching. Links to TBFH everywhere are below, right down in the description. You'll see, and also in the comments, you'll see one link that takes you everywhere you need, your Spotify and all that. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Peace.